poke it into the ribs of the person next to you. Just dig it in there a little bit. Come on, let's see it. Dig it in there a little bit. Say to the person, you need to laugh more.
It really doesn't hurt because he's not here.
Laughter is very good for us investors because of all the stress.
Yeah, I guess
You need to laugh more when you're out there and you face all those ridiculous things that happen to us as investors. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is just looking at some calculations and formulas so that you can better understand how to just figure out what materials you need if you're going to be doing this stuff on your own. And we have a couple of different formulas. First, I want to tell you about this little tape. This is called the Easy Read tape. Who has an Easy Read tape? Anybody else? Okay, Marion, thank you. Okay, an Easy Read tape is called that because it's really easy to read. That makes sense, right? For us people, you know, average ordinary carpenter like myself, I need an Easy Read tape even after 30 years as a carpenter. This has all the little, what the lines mean. Like that line means an eighth, and that line means a quarter. So if you haven't mastered the tape yet, get yourself an Easy Read tape, and then you'll know exactly what your measurements are for that fine work. Okay, so thank you, Jim, getting that up there. First, we're going to talk about figuring out the square footage of a square area or an area of a rectangle, and then I'll give you a practical example. So back to our school days, the area of a square is the side squared, or the area equals the length times the width. So whether it's a square or a rectangle, it'll be length times the width, or in this case, a square side square. We could flip that over, please. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, man.
Okay, let's say you're going to figure out how much drywall is in a room. And the room is 10 by 12. Okay? Most of us have done a house or are looking at a house that you might be looking to buy for the first time. You're going to find somewhere in that house a room that needs drywall, and the room is 10 by 12. So to figure out how much drywall you need, you're going to measure the walls. So you have two walls at 12 feet, and you have two walls at 10 feet. Okay? And they're 8 feet high in this case. Okay? So you want to take your tape and measure, well, that's 8 feet. Okay? 8 feet high. Pardon me?
He thought they were 18 feet.
18? 18?
You're coming over to my house, right?
18-foot ceilings, is that what you're talking about?
No, Ed.
Whatever the case may be, measure the length and the width, or the length and the height of the wall. And in this case, there's two walls at 12 feet and two at 10 feet. So 2 times 12 times 8 is what? 192. Thank you very much. And 2 times 10 times 8? 160. And then your ceiling, because you got a 10 by 12 ceiling, that's 120, which is a total of what? 472 feet. Okay, so if you now have to figure out what size sheets of drywall you're going to use in this room. And if you're like our honored guest from up all the way in Ottawa, Tamara, would you stand up, Tamara, for us, please? Let's give her a round of applause. Tamara told me about a room that she's drywalling. I said, well, what size sheetrock did you use? She's, well, I used 8s and 10s and 12s. I said, wow, you knew that? She went, I measured them all. I knew exactly what I needed for what area. So you want to think about your scrap and minimize your scrap and figure out what size sheets you're going to use. In this case, we're going to use all 12 footers in this room because it's really easy to walk right in the house and walk right up the stairs and boom, right in that room. You don't have to bend your sheets. You get a drywall bender. Anybody have, if you're looking to rent a drywall bender, I'll be glad to rent you mine. Okay, so if you got 472 square feet and divided by 48, why do you divide it by 48? 4 by 8? 4 by 8 or 4 by 12? You're using 12-foot sheets, so 4 times 12 is 48. So you divide your total square footage by 48, which is a 12-foot sheet of drywall, and you come up with how many sheets? 9.83, and you would buy 10 sheets of drywall. Thank you very much. Okay, so any questions on how to figure out that drywall? Okay, very good. Moving right along. Sorry. Okay, so now we're going to move into, let's say you have, thank you, Vanna. You have a gable end of a house or a garage, okay? And you need to put some plywood up there because it's kind of rotted out, and you need to put some siding on it or paint it. So the area of a triangle is the area equals 1/2 the base times the height, okay? These are real simple because if you just take this triangle and flip it over on top of that one, what does it make? It's a rectangle, okay? So it's real easy to do gable ends because you got 2 triangles. Just take it, flip it like back over there in your mind and say it's a rectangle. It's just base times the height. That's how much square footage I've got. In this case, if we were just going to do one side, you have a 20-foot width of the garage. Half of that is 10 feet. The height is 5 feet right here. So 1/2 of 10 times 5 equals what? 25 square feet. How many sheets of plywood would you need to buy to cover 25 square feet? How big is a sheet of plywood? 4 by 8, which equals 32 square feet. So you'd end up having to buy 2 sheets of plywood to get, no, 1 sheet of plywood. Carpenter's rule, measure twice and cut once? No.
Yep.
Is that it? After 30 years, I have it wrong. Measure once and cut twice.
I've cut twice, but still too short.
No wonder I went into business for myself. Okay.
Always cut twice. Heavy.
Okay, painting. Same thing here. You just figure out the square footage of a room. Let's go back to that 10 by 12 foot room. Figure out how many square feet are total in the room. And then just read on the back of your can or go to your local paint store. In this case, the family down at Purcell's Paint donated some brochures for us. They're on the back table back there if you're interested in just simple things on how to measure up the square footage of your room and how to calculate your paint. But if you look on the back of your paint can, or you just call them up and say, I got a room that has 600 square feet in it, what's the coverage of the particular paint you want to use, they'll tell you, and then you'll know how many gallons to buy. Same way if you're going to seal a driveway. Measure up the square footage of the driveway. Sprucing up a driveway looks really good for a resale of a house. Won't cost you that much. It's easy to do. If you don't like to do it, call Heidi and myself. We'll come out and we'll charge you a couple $100 and we'll have it done in an hour for you.